review I do. No.
See, Nerdy wants to know if you're going to get in trouble. Me, I want to know what's the first thing you ate. I'm not talking about Mary Jane. I'm talking about, like.
So aside from the breakfast that my paisans took me to immediately upon my release, because I live 5 hours away, and my cousin and my best friend, one of my best friends, he drove me to my wife up where I live, and my wife had cooked the feast. And what it was a turkey and oxtails. Anyone had oxtails before?
Oh yeah.
Oh, see, yeah, my kind of people. So, because people who haven't had oxtails before are not my kind of people. But these oxtails were amazing, and a whole turkey, and I had a pecan pie, cheesecake, and grilled asparagus, and a big salad. That was my first meal home. I mean,
Not a bad meal.
hell no, man. I laid down, and I hadn't slept for like a week. It was a rough week because I didn't know if they're actually going to let me out. Lots of times they were messing with me, and so I wasn't sure if they're actually going to open that gate. And then that day came, and they opened that gate, and I was just like, it was surreal, man.
So now you got into novel writing. You got 2 novels out. You're talking to me about your crew. Is part of like the whole White Boy Rick movie thing going on? Talk to me. What's going on there?
That my crew. Well, crew is, I guess,
your buddies, whatever you want to.
Well, my crew now is a bunch of nerdy book writing, people, and one of those nerdy book writing dudes are Scott Bernstein, who is he's a writer. You guys probably know him. He's from Detroit. He wrote Motor City Mafia, and he actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so he was related to the because I read the Purple
Gang
Gang books.
Sure.
So he was related.
Yep.
Okay.
He actually wrote a book on Purple Gang too, or done a bunch of work on it. He's been on A&E and done documentaries, but he actually was an official script consultant for Sony Pictures for the White Boy Rick movie. Yeah. So, and me and him, we talk all the time. We talk at length on the phone often. He is the smartest guy, and as far as when it comes to organized crime and underworld crime. In Detroit, for sure. Midwest, for sure. And in the world, probably. You know what I mean? The guy's smart as they come.
See, people don't think that even exists in town. Then all of a sudden you hear little things about the Russian mafia.
No, you hear, it's always New York and Chicago.
Right.
And,
Detroit only for Prohibition, but
Yeah.
Well, that's a funny story. I can't talk a whole lot about how that operates.
Please don't.
I'd really rather not get subpoenaed.
But what I will say is the family or that element here is very quiet. They're not, they're not like other.
It's not showy.
Exactly, and it's also not murdery.
No,
so,
well,
not a word I just made up. But.
Here's what I've learned, because I have family in Jersey. That's the best way that I've always come to describe my family in Jersey is that half of them are on the police force, and the other half are not.
Right. They all work together.
And it's different out here. It's a lot more quiet. It's a lot more subtle. It's people. If you know, you know.
Exactly.
And if you don't,
It's just supposed to make money and not be in the newspaper.
Right.
You're not John Gotti, you know what I mean? Who's
you're not trying to be the Teflon, yeah.
Yeah, because the guys like them, all they do is attract attention from the FBI, and then they want to.
And that was the beginning of the end.
Exactly, for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But here it's, I guess, more about money. There's a lot of sports betting and things like that where a lot of money can be made that way. And for me, I mean, little things, or poker games and dice games, and I'm in a million little scams and hustles. And I mean, actually, if you go to Gunner Detroit, shameless plug here.
It's fine.
Gunner Detroit, my website. You can go. People who aren't familiar with the Lindbloom Chronicles are short stories from my previous life. Actually, I talk about some of those strange scams and cons and hustles and rackets that I was involved in, and people love them. I mean, they get tens of thousands of reads around the world, hundreds of thousands.
Well, I mean, everybody. I mean, how popular was The Sopranos? I mean, everybody wants to know.
Everybody digs them, man.
I'm gonna throw you under the bus right now.
Please do.
This is a grown ass man who made it to the age of 41.
Never
saw The Godfather.
Oh, there's a lot of those weirdos. A lot of weirdos.
No! I told you.
Oh, yeah, you're a weirdo.
Definitely not.
Cut you off right there, bro. Hey, I ran into people like that here and there in my lifetime, and I'm like, dude, and I get it.
Hey, what Italian families watch The Sound of Music? I grew up in a German house. What do you want from me?
I watched The Sound of Music.
Still, though, classic movies are classic movies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're timeless. The Godfather has made billions of dollars and by the way, my book is being compared to the next Godfather. Look at the reviews on Amazon, and the people who have read the book, they are saying
Well, I mean, let's be honest. There's a shirt with 3 wolves on it that has amazing reviews on Amazon.
No. But the thing is that's different. What I'm saying is when you have to buy my book and then leave what do they say?
It's a verified purchase.
Verified
review.
purchase.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you have to go back after you read it as a verified purchase back in your account and then leave a review. And and everybody's like, your book is the next Godfather. Your books are. You have written them. We've waited 30, 40 years for this book. You're the next Mario Puzo. You've done it. And I actually, believed in my heart. I knew that's what I had. But it's good. It's a beautiful thing to have it confirmed by not just people in prison or not just friends and family, to have hundreds and hundreds of people saying, "Hey,
yeah, your book's awesome. Can I have a cigarette?"
Yeah. No. But it wasn't like that. Because let me tell you something about prison. If there's one thing guys are in prison, they're avid readers. They have nothing but time. They read hundreds and thousands of books in their lifetimes. And I've had guys who have read literally 10,000 books in their life. Read my books, come back to me and go, dude, I've read 10,000 books over the last 20 years. Your book is the best book I've ever read. And I've had dozens.
9 out of 10 prisoners agree that
my book,
To Be a King, is the greatest novel.
Right. But they read the manuscript. There's a raw manuscript. And so I actually had a guy steal the manuscript and go to lock up and go to the hole right before I came home. Like, he thought it was going to have some value to, when he gets to the streets.
Nice.
So he actually what's called locked up, where they actually go to the hole voluntarily.
Yeah.
Took my manuscript and locked up, went to the hole. Because he knows that down the road it's going to have a lot of value. So
Interesting.
That's going to be his score, I guess. Whatever.
So, do you want to give anything away, like how is it, like this, in terms of the story, or do you want to leave it for the reader? Or?
Well, the story's about a young character named Omnio King Falcone. So, Omnio's an old Latin term from Sicily that actually is kind of like a king, a local king, and so that's where you get King to be a king, and he is basically half Sicilian. So he kind of gets ostracized by most of his family. However, he is the last Falcone. His grandfather is the boss of bosses, temporarily, because he's getting old. The feds are onto him. He must step down. So the person who takes over the family, which is his uncle, his son is basically the main character's like arch nemesis. Okay, because he's a little punk, right?
Okay.
And he's jealous basically of King, but they both end up kind of having this thing for a girl. And then into the girl, there's a huge rift between the family because...
Isn't that always the problem?
It's always a problem. And so there's this beautiful girl, Sicilian Mafia princess, comes from Sicily to go to school at University of Michigan because she's going to be a neurosurgeon or starting to be a doctor. And but her father is a big mafioso from Sicily. And when she comes to Detroit... she's put under the aegisi or under the protection of the local mafia don, which is the main character's grandfather. And when the two cousins meet her, they're both smitten by her. However, the little punk who's, father's now the new boss of bosses, he lays claim to her. But Omnio King Falcone is not the kind of guy who lays down to anybody, and so we have a problem. So, and there's a lot more to it, but I'm not going to ruin the story. But that's the premise of the story. He is a mastermind, but everybody is against him, but he outmaneuvers everyone. He's a chess player. He's a mafioso chess player, and he outmaneuvers everybody 2, 3, 5, 10 moves ahead of everybody. And so there's a lot of Machiavellian deception, who can trust who, but he operates under a set of rules of honor, love, loyalty, and trust, where that's supposed to be how it is.
You didn't get that from John Cena, did you?
I don't know. Is that what he says?
That's a loyalty and respect, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Back when I was writing the book in my mind, because the main character is actually a big, tough, tall, muscle-bound guy, I thought, man, if John Cena could act, he could play the main character. But the guy can't act for the craft, so that's out. You know what I'm saying? But no. So
by the way, our Motor City Sports guys would like you to know, shut up and watch The Godfather, Bob.
I already did.
Good.
I've watched it like 6 times.
Oh, now you have.
He's not 41 anymore. He's past
I
41.
bet you read on Steel too, don't you? I do.
So did you watch Scarface? Have you watched
totally.
Goodfellas?
Honestly, this was the best part. We mocked him for 6 months live on the show because he hadn't watched The Godfather. He comes in after watching it. He's like, holy shit, I get all the references now. He's like, now I understand The
Yeah,
Sopranos.
yeah.
Now I understand Scarface. I get it.
The Sopranos are so watered down and turned into a soap opera. First season, it's too bad they didn't have writers like me. Like the first couple seasons were good, then it became a soap opera. The season became watered down and cliche, and cliche, and of course people like tuned in because they're like hooked on the characters and they're following. But
Although I do love the story because the very first episode he's wearing shorts. And Gandolfini said he got a phone call from a mobster in Jersey.
They cover up your legs,
and
man.
said, so help me God, don't you ever wear shorts.
Yeah, terrible.
Nobody wears shorts.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. And you never see him in shorts through the rest of the seasons.
Yeah.
See, I'm into Ray Donovan right now, which is about the closest thing to a mob movie going on.
Oh, wait a minute now. They're
Or
actually
mob series.
Scorsese's got The Irishman coming out. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes.
$100 million Netflix.
You're talking about the Cleveland mob boss, the one that made the movie, the Irishman?
No, the new Netflix series that's got everybody.
But there was a
No,
movie
it's not
about
a
the
series.
Cleveland.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Netflix bought out the rights to make the movie, and it's Scorsese's directing it. Pesci, De Niro, Pacino, everybody's in it. Although the story is so like fictionalized compared to the real story.
Yeah.
But it's funny because a friend of mine is consulting Robert De Niro as that. He played
The original Irishman was filmed here, so like I had like 3 buddies that had like extra roles in it.
Well, this is actually this is a different play about killing Jimmy Hoffa. And so De Niro plays the hitman of the Irishman, kills Hoffa. And he actually, this is a true story. This is crazy as hell because when I was in New York, I was promoting my book with a guy named Larry Mazza. He's a famous hitman from the Colombo crime family. Him and I split a booth at BookCon. Are you familiar with BookCon? Well, it was Javits Center. So anyway, we were at the booth. This is true, unbelievable. So he gets called by Robert De Niro, and he says, listen, me and Mark.
I'm sorry. We live in a world where a guy a year out of prison from being a mobster is getting a booth at a con. Let's just take a moment.
right. Oh, I could show you the pictures where I was surrounded by fans. It was unbelievable. Going at con, right?
Right.
In the Javits Center, New York City.
Nice.
So,
Hey, Chewbacca Mom had a booth next to John Cusack. Anything?
well, that was funny too, because a lot of these crazy books that come out with these sci-fi books and all these fantasy books, they have like characters running around.
Oh yeah.
And I was doing an interview just like this with Offensive Talk Radio at my booth, and the other guy's like, "What the hell do you keep looking over?" And he's like, "There's a guy dressed like Elvis right there, and there's a freaking like nymph over there, and what the hell's going on here? We're at a book con."
There's a tree walking around saying Groot.
That's funny, girl. But no. Let me get back to so he gets a call from De Niro and says, Marty and I want to have lunch with you right now at Marty's apartment. Scorsese.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, no, pack it up, get out. I said, here's my book, give it to Marty.
Meep.
Right, that quick. I'm out. I literally said, take my book, but I was like, you know what, that's very, upfront. You just can't walk in. Hey man, thanks. And by the way, my buddy's book, awesome. But actually they're making a series out of his life, and perhaps a show. But they asked him, so when we're done with this project, we're working on other stuff. Do you have anything yet? And he said, yeah, my buddy from Detroit, he's got a really good mafia book out there called The Next Godfather. And so he says, give me the book before we're done producing, before we're done filming, so I can hand it to these guys. And so,
okay.
yeah, man, here you go. Man. And speaking of that, by the way, I got to say one other thing. I have a friend named Ciro DiPaggio. This guy has created.
He's
this,
slightly Italian.
Slightly, yeah. He's created this web series on the internet called Mob King. Now, This guy started from scratch, from nothing. He did 19 years in prison. He's involved in Miami organized crime. He did his time, got out. This guy has started from scratch, from nothing, from zero, and put together this amazing production of this series called Mob King Web Series. And it's going to get picked up by Netflix or HBO or somebody or something because it's that good. The acting is amazing. The production is amazing. Everything is just top notch. So somebody's going to swoop in and grab him up.
Cool.
So I had to give him a shout out because the guy is really just hardest work. I call him the hardest working man in the show, but he's on Facebook. He's everywhere. He's got 10 twins.
I think that's the key to success. We just, one, don't pay taxes. 2, go to prison. 3, be successful. Like I think
Right,
that's
right. Well, yeah,
we have time for that?
I don't think so.
We're kind of old. We're older now.
Yeah,
we're
10
in our
years
40s.
ago, maybe.
yeah.
I don't think you guys will do well in prison. Something tells me. You know?
No, not so
Yeah,
much.
you know us very well.
12-step program, 3-step.
Right there it is. Yeah.
I call you Tupac. I paid $2 for your ass.
Right. Yeah, you guys will definitely be doing laundry.
Cry like a baby every night, all night.
Right.
This is not happening. This is not happening.
Listen, if you guys don't make me a freaking computer in here, we're gonna have problems. What, you know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about that. This is a tech show. So 13 years, you come out, and what like?
Well, it's like, we always joke, Kevin Mitnick, the whole War Games thing, he goes to jail. Like, he had never even seen Windows 95 when he went in. And then he gets out and dropped into, the internet age.
Right.
So
my last
what was
phone,
that like?
before I went to prison, I had a flip Nextel Motorola phone. I came out.
It took 4 presses to make
Oh
a T.
man, I want to kill myself all the time. Yeah, it took 4 presses. I wanted to kill that thing every time. But so I get out, and the day that I have been out 45 minutes, they give me a bag of presents when I get out, and I got this iPhone in there. This is actually a funny story. I told him about it.
Horrible friends. They gave you an iPhone. Android.
Here we go. There's always some kind of ball buster in the room. You know what I'm saying?
There is.
They actually gave me. So I took this bag. I opened it up, and in the bag was a hat, Detroit hat. Well, the directions for my phone were in the hat. Now, keep in mind, I've been locked up a long time.
Right.
And it says, swipe to the left to turn on, inside the hat. I said, now they're all sitting around the table.
What is this, Demolition Man? I got to turn on my hat?
Exactly what I'm thinking. I said, geez, oh, Pete, man, hats have come a long ways. I said, swipe. They heard me mumble, swipe to the left. And I'm looking at
like
they
on
all
the,
bust
on
out
the brim? On
like, so I'm thinking in my mind, like I swiped to left, I put it on my head, and it goes, and it just sucks. Perfect fit.
It's the Back to the Future 2 coat. And just
Right. I'm like, but they all start cracking up. They're like, this is the direction to your iPhone. And it like at the beginning, I was like freaked out by the whole thing. And now I swear I could move a satellite with my iPhone. I'm
it's crazy.
Yeah. I'm good like that. I mean, I'm good. I did all my designs for my clothing line using my iPhone.
Nice.
I have all the designs and all my marketing for my, just about everything, my book and my clothing line. I do it all. Although I have to shout out to my wife, who is the master behind everything, my website and everything, editing, marketing, proofing my book. She is the master behind me, because I'm just basically an idiot without her. Let's face it.
Aren't we all?
I mean, I'm just kind of a babbling. I tell people all the time, I'm not a functioning adult. I'm Italian, and like I was telling you, the lady out there, I mean, without a woman, most Italian men are pretty much non-functioning adults with just big, giant man children, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't do nothing.
I don't know that that's limited to Italians.
Right.
That's a cross-culture thing.
Is it? I just for sure know. You know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing without her. And
all right, so hey, speaking of website, where do we find out more?
Right now, the website just went live, thanks to my amazing wife, Gunner Detroit. So at Gunner Detroit, you can find everything.
Okay.
I got there is my YouTube channel. You can find the Arthing Apparel link there. The Lindbloom Chronicles, which I write for the National Crime Syndicate, which are very popular. You should check them out. And then also the King Chronicles, which were just released today, which are based on characters from the book, my novels, and
little mini teaser stories.
Exactly. And everybody's already loving them and wanting more. And look at this guy's got them pulled up, man. Jeez, you're quick, man. Jeez. And
that's why we keep them around.
And then there's stuff about me, and basically that's it. So Gunner Detroit, check anything you want out. And that's one of my. He's reading one of them right there. Jeez, you're a speed reader. This guy's quick. He's blasting through them. But so that's it, man. He's Gunner Detroit, and make sure the clothing line is very popular. New coat, make sure you check it out.
Our Thing
Apparel, and everybody's loving it. We sell clothes. I've had orders as far as London and Spain and Italy, and even some guy from Guam is like, how do I get them? So Our Thing, by the way, I got to say really quick, a lot of people don't know what Our Thing means, so you probably don't. Do you?
No idea.
Okay, so Our Thing, so the term La Cosa Nostra, and it is what the mafia calls itself.
It doesn't exist.
Exactly. Thank you. However, if it did exist,
hypothetically speaking, if it were
La Cosa Nostra, if they did exist, they would call themselves La Cosa Nostra. And literally in Italian, I mean, it's Our Thing in English. So when I was promoting my book,
It's like Chinese food. They don't like in China. They don't call it Chinese food. It's just food.
right. Oh, that's fine.
They don't call it. It's just our thing.
What do they call Brazil nuts in Brazil, though?
Nuts.
Well, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is it Everything Apparel? That's how it came about. I was promoting my book, and I made a hoodie with the picture of my novel in the front, and I put just Detroit art thing on the back, and posted it online. And everyone's like, I want one of those. And so we just started a clothing line, and now we're gonna have a men's toiletries line. I'm looking at tennis shoes, sunglasses. We have everything. We have jumpsuits, sweatsuits. Jackets, T-shirts.
Of course, there's going to be jumpsuits.
We got a Bambino line for kids. I gave you guys.
I know, that looks awesome.
Right, and we got women's stuff. We got everything. So it's cool. And anybody who wants then, just go to artthingapparel.com or just go to Gunner Detroit, and the link is right there. Bam.
It's very, very cool, man.
Thanks.
Love hearing stuff like that.
I mean, 14 months out. I mean, I've been busy. The ironic part is I spend most of my days fishing and four-wheeling because I live way up the hell north, and everybody who's a friend with me is totally sick of seeing my salmon posts because I go salmon fishing basically every day.
Is that a euphemism? Or?
No, that's a real right, well, it could be. But I go salmon fishing almost every day, and I just keep shoving the Facebook. My salmon is. I really was sick of your salmon, man. Stop with
Should I
salmon.
tell him they sell salmon at the store? He doesn't have to go fishing
What?
for
So,
it?
I can wake up at 5 in the morning and get salmon, or I can wake up at noon and go to the store and get salmon.
Way more fun to catch, though.
Just being funny.
Way more fun to catch. If you ever caught a salmon, you know what I'm saying. It's like the gangster of fish. I'm just saying. Like it's the mobster of fish, the salmon. They're killers. I'm telling you.
Because it always goes back to its own home turf.
Right. It always goes back to gangster somehow. Life's full circle. I was just trying to tell these guys that everybody's got a little gangster in them. These guys run a monopoly on Detroit's podcast. And they're like, well, everyone has gangster. I'm like, you guys monopolize Detroit podcast. That's gangster. You know what I'm saying? And you do it while you're drinking.
When people look at Bob and Dave,
They think
think
gangster.
gangster.
As he drinks it straight up, knocks down. Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's gangster.
Nothing but the best.
Right.
So, hey, we're going to